Summary of the Pearl by John Steinbeck. La Paz, California is the setting for the Pearl, which takes place in a small community on the outskirts of the city. Kino, Juana, and their baby, Coyotito, live in a brush house. This is where the story starts. While Kino and Juana are getting ready for the day, a scorpion falls into Coyotito's hanging box and stings him. Knowing how dangerous the scorpion's sting is, Juana tells someone to call the doctor and then makes them go to the doctor themselves when the doctor refuses to come to them. Kino, Juana, Coyotito, and their friends all go to the city together. The servant tells the doctor that they have arrived at his gate, and the doctor, who is currently lounging in bed, finds it offensive that they think he would cure insect bites for little Indians for free. The helper tells Kino that the doctor won't be able to see them, which makes Kino very angry because it's clear that the doctor is being unfair. They got in their boat and set out to find pearls. Kino goes to the bottom of the ocean and finds a single oyster that shines from the inside. Kino opens this oyster last when he gets back to the boat and finds the world's most perfect pearl inside. News of Kino's pearl quickly spreads through town, making everyone who hears about it want it even more. Juan Tomas asks Kino what he will do when he gets rich. Kino says that he and Juana will get married in a church, that they will dress nice, that he will have a gun, and that his son will go to school. The priest goes to the brush house to tell Kino and Juana to give God thanks. But then the doctor comes to treat the baby after hearing about the pearl. He gives the first treatment and says the poison will start to work in an hour. Within an hour, Coyotito does get sick, and the doctor gives him a second treatment to get better. The doctor acts like he doesn't know about Kino's plan to pay him after he sells the pearl. That night, after it gets dark, Kino hears noises in the house and hits a thief with his knife while looking for the pearl. He is hit back, though. Juana begs them to get rid of the pearl, but they don't listen. The next day, Kino and Juana go to see the pearl sellers with their neighbors. The first buyer Kino sees only values the pearl at 1,000 pesos, saying it's too big and awkward to be worth more. However, it's clear that the pearl is worth much more than that. When Kino says that the dealer is cheating him, the dealer tells Kino to get more estimates, which are even worse than the first one. Kino thinks he's been ripped off and chooses to get a better estimate in the capital. Again that night, Kino beats off an attacker. If Juana tries to throw the pearl into the water, Kino will catch her, rip the pearl from her, and beat her up. After a few minutes, Juana wakes up to find that Kino has been attacked again and has killed the person who did it. Kino and Juana need to leave town for good now that Kino is guilty of murder. Kino sees that someone has made a hole in the bottom of the boat as he walks up to it to get ready for their trip. The family then runs to Juan Tomas's house for safety when they see that their own house is on fire. Trackers who have been following them from the village follow them north at night. The family hides out in a cave in the side of a rock, and that's where the trackers sleep at night. When it's fully dark, Kino gets ready to attack them. Just as he does, Coyotito cries, which makes one of the trackers shoot at what he thinks is a coyote. Kino kills the guys, but Coyotito has already been shot and killed. Along with Kino, Juana walks back to the village with Coyotito's body wrapped in her blanket. They are united and in pain. Kino throws the pearl back to water.
About the author. Steinbeck grew up near Salinas, California. When Steinbeck was growing up in California, he had a good life and loved nature and the land. He also loved writing about people of different races and social classes. He went to Stanford University but never finished his degree. Instead, he quit his job and went to New York in 1925 to run his own writing business. After that plan failed, he went back to California and got his first real attention for Tortilla Flat, 1935, a collection of stories about farm workers in Monterey, California. He wrote many more books, but The Story of Mice and Men, 1937, and the novel The Grapes of Wrath, 1939, are what he is most famous for today. For his writing, he won the Nobel Prize in 1962. He died on December 20, 1968, in New York City.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.